Hello guys, what is up? HandyCape here, and this is the first episode of the Cuphead tips and tricks series I will make. In case you don't know, Cuphead is a run and gun indie game which is extremely boss battle based. Since the game features so many different and unique bosses, I thought it should be fitting to start the series with an episode about one of these notorious bastards, Grand in the Ruse of the Ooze. So enough introduction, let's go. Since this is the first episode of the series, let me explain something important that you may not be aware of if you haven't played the game yet. Each boss has a few phases, which means when you deal enough damage to it, it will evolve into a usually stronger and much more difficult to build version of themselves. I just wanted to get this out of the way because I will divide each boss fight video according to the boss's phases. Enjoy. Let's quickly go over the moves you can use so we're on the same page. You can obviously walk, you can jump, you can duck, you can shoot in 8 different directions, and you can parry, which means block or interact with pink objects in the air. Here you don't really have to interact with them, but for next bosses or levels this will apply. You can also dash forward or backward. And lastly, you can use your X move, which is your strongest move, and you need the super meter, which is this thing, to use it. You can either use a regular super move, which will only take 1 card off your super meter, or you can use like a final move, which will require a full meter and will use all of it. In order to beat Ruse of the Ooze with ease, you need to master the use of the dash move efficiently. I will explain later. Enjoy. Okay, when you're talking about Grand, his phase 1 is not his easiest one, but in my opinion the third one is. His moves are very limited as he is a very early boss in the game, but for someone who is new to gaming or isn't used to high-paced games, it might be a bit complicated to efficiently deal with his movement. In the first phase, Guppy has 2 moves. He can jump from side to side, and he can also stop in his place, expand his head, and then stretch it out quickly. I'm going to start things off by talking about his jumping, which is his main action throughout the phase. Since he is a ball of goo, it is only fitting for him to be bouncing, and I'll be damned if he doesn't. His jumps are very predictable though, and can be countered easily, using the dash move, which is, like I mentioned earlier, is very useful during this fight. In order to beat Guppy with ease, you want to try to stay in the center, because if he pushes you to the corner, it can put you in a sticky situation, and for many players, it can cause a kind of panic mode that makes them confused and they will lose HP for no reason. Besides standing in the center of the stage, you also want to stay in a close to medium range from him, and whenever he jumps to one side, you want to dash under him to the opposite direction. If he bounces to the right, you bounce to the left and vice versa. There is also a situation where a jump can totally catch you off guard. When Guppy is standing in a medium to close range to a wall and he is looking at it, he will jump at the wall and will ricochet from the wall back to where he stood. And that can really confuse you. So if you are standing in the corner for some reason, you will probably get caught off guard a few times because of this thing. So what you want to do is, if you see he is standing in a medium to close range from the wall and he's looking at that wall, you want to stay in the corner and don't leave it, because he will just bounce back from the wall to where he stood, and if you try to dash to the opposite direction from the one you jumped to, you will get hit. So notice that. When it comes to his special move, there isn't much to say. It's very predictable since he stops in place, stretches his head backwards, and then he unleashes a big hit in front of him. Besides simply not being there when he uses his move, you can also duck like this. Phase 2 of Goopy is practically the same as the first, but it gets bigger and angrier. There are a few things you should know about it though, and I will quickly go over them right now. Okay, him getting bigger has two effects. On the one hand, you need to be more careful because he covers more space where you can get hit. On the other hand, you don't have to aim as accurately as you did in the first phase because he has a bigger hitbox. Similarly to phase 1, Goop can either jump or use his special move, both of which are countered the same way as earlier. The only thing is there is a little twist on the bounces, which I will cover right now. When it comes to countering his bounces in phase 2, there are two small twists to the technique, both of which are required due to his change of size. The first change is, you have to be closer to him if you want to dash from under when he jumps, or you will get hit by his massive hitbox. The other difference is that the wall bounce will occur much more often, and it is more punishing if you do not respond correctly and accurately. His special move, while it might seem more difficult to counter than the one from phase 1, is just as simple to avoid. You can either not be there when his massive punch comes flying instead of his head, like in phase 1, you can also duck. Also, while it might seem like it should hit you, it is possible to duck under his glove and not take any damage, as shown here. And that is pretty much all there is to say about phase 2, so let's move on to phase 3, which is in my opinion his easiest one. Do you remember when I said that Goopy's third phase is his easiest one? Well, I wasn't kidding. The only way someone can lose to him is if they are not focused or have the instincts of a cat, in a sack, underwater, and stuck in a block of cement. Well, I think you get a point. It is very easy to beat the third phase. It literally is just a tombstone that moves from side to side, and every 3 or so times it's past you, it will crash down to the ground. You only need to dash out of there, and you are good to go. Despite the simplicity of the third phase, let me give you these two tips. The first one is, don't get panicked because of how fast the tombstone moves. Stay calm and you will succeed. The second tip is, you can only hit the tombstone in the face, and shooting at the body is a waste of energy. Remember, you can only play as long as your weakest thumb. And that is it for this video. Hopefully you have defeated Goop Legrand and checked his name off your list. If these tips were helpful to you, or if you just enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications to see when I am posting a new video. And until the next time, goodbye.